pop on. This is future editing me. Before this video begins, I wanted to just pop on and say that I feel like because I was so focused on trying to make this a chatty video about the things that you wanted, I forgot to put in the things that I needed to put in. So while I'm editing, I thought I'd just come on and record this quick little intro for you. So I wanted to thank you for joining me, whether you're new or whether you've been with me for some time. I really appreciate you coming in and checking out my video. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. It helps the algorithm. I will be listing as many of the products as I possibly can that I use today in the product description or in the video description below. They will be linked through my associate account. So if you want to purchase any of these items, if you use my link, that would be really super helpful for me. It helps to keep this channel going. So thank you very much for that. If you need another link, from Amazon Canada, for example, I'm going to be doing these through Amazon USA because that's a little easier for most people. Just let me know and I'll see what I can do for you, okay? Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you at the end of the video. Bye-bye now. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Winter 89 Colors. My name is Melissa, and I am here today to just do some coloring on camera. I'm trying to get used to just doing that. Just turn on the camera, you know, because I have a lot of anxiety about... And I'm going to do a whole video on this, by the way. I've already begun the pre-planning stages of it. I'm going to be doing a video on coloring anxiety. But I'll give you a quick little snippet here of where my brain's at. I have the anxiety that I can't color anything because I have to make sure I video it. Because you guys want to see it, right? So I don't end up coloring anything because I'm like, I don't have a good video idea for that. Or, you know, I'm not in the headspace. It's not going to be good enough to video. You know, all those things. So I'm like, no, I gotta just start turning on the camera and just start videoing. So that's what I'm doing. So I have a buddy color in RJ Hampson's Serendipity, and we're gonna be doing this page right here. So I've already decided that I'm gonna be using pastels for the background. So I've got different materials here for doing my pastel work. I'm gonna try to keep it off of the main images as much as possible, but if it comes down to it, I'll just erase it. That's just the way it goes with pastels, right? Okay, so I've got my pan pastel. Let me just see. What is it again? It's 560.8 phthalo blue tint. So that's going to be for part of it. And then I've also got, I don't know the name of this, but it's a Mungio Gallery soft pastel, and it's in dark indigo blue or something. I've long since lost the wrapper for it, so... That's that. I've got some makeup applicators here for detail, and I've got some cut up J-cloth here for doing larger areas because I'm trying not to use so much disposable stuff. I can wash my J-cloths. Ow, 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 ow. Sorry. I tweaked something in my back a couple of days ago, and it's still spasming sometimes. Or if I turn the wrong way, or if I breathe the wrong way, it just... It just spasms like crazy. So forgive me if there's a sudden ow, ow, ow out of nowhere. So I'm going to chat through this as much as I can. But if it gets to a point where I'm not speaking at all and it's dead silence, I'll just maybe throw some music over it or leave it silent. I don't know. Whatever. We'll see where it goes. I'm trying to keep this loosey-goosey. So I've got my little... cheap knife here. I keep this for just scraping off bits of pastel where I need to. Okay, I'm gonna do the soft stuff first. So I'm using this this soft tool. I guess I should zoom you in a little bit, eh? I'm not gonna zoom in too much because yeah, because I want you to still be able to see everything, and I don't want to like end up with you off the screen. So okay, so I'm going to take my phthalo blue here, and I'm going to go in and try to get as much of this middle ring as I can without disturbing the birdies here. So this is Winter Joy, so I am focusing on the winter aspects, not so much the Christmas. If it ends up being a little Christmassy, I'm not going to be mad about it. But it's not what I'm going to aim for. So hello everybody. Hi, how's it going? What are you up to today? I'm trying to deal with my stupid back problems, which I've always had back problems. I have chronic back problems. I have scoliosis. So like back pain is no stranger to me. That's like my everyday. But this is something else entirely. I think I've pulled something or torn something or pinched a nerve. I don't know what I've done, but it's quite painful. But I was in the hospital yesterday for unrelated things. I was in for, I had my nurse case manager helping me with my ODSP forms. And so while I was there, I was like, hey, just so I can save myself like 8 hours of waiting in the ER, do you think I need a doctor? And I explained my symptoms to him, and he was like, eh. He's like, it sounds like a muscle thing. It's probably, you know, a pull, a strain, a tear, something like that, like I just said. He's like, so I would say, as long as it doesn't start getting worse, and you don't notice any internal symptoms, such as, you know, bowel or bladder problems, any kind of fever, nausea, you know, anything that doesn't speak to external problems. He's like, then that's probably fine. Try heat, try cold, try your over-the-counter pain medications, things like that, and you should be fine. So that's what I'm doing, and I am a little better today than I was yesterday. Yesterday when I woke up, I was like, oh my God, I am absolutely gonna die. Like, it was so bad. I could not move. I could not get comfortable. I could not, like, laying down was painful. Like being, not like the act of laying down, but being laid down was painful. I could barely find a situation that felt even mildly comfortable. So okay, and I'm also gonna do light blue down here underneath these guys. Even though it's counterintuitive because we want to be shadowing down here, I want this to be like the ground, whereas the dark blue is kind of like the sky. So I'll add more shadowing and shading in down here afterwards, but for right now I just want to get in the ground color, because I want to be like so like this outer ring here is like the sky. They're hanging out in the winter. It's nice in daytime, but then we've got this mystical nighttime in the center here and then on the outside. So it's kind of like giving day and night vibes. In all of RJ's books, I seem to be doing his daytime, his non-black background ones first. I don't know why. Because normally I'd be that person that would head for the black backgrounds first, but for some reason in his books I'm doing white background first. It's a strange thing. Okay, so I think that's enough of the light blue. Let's move into the dark blue. So for this, there's a lot of large space here happening with this, so I'm gonna pull out a cloth here. So this one's had some blue done on it already, as you can see, so I don't mind using it for the dark blue. Just gonna flip it inside out here. Give it a little wipe on my pants, because that's what I do. I'll have to wash these. They're getting a little bit stained up, so. Okay, so I'm going to scrape a little bit of this into the center here, and I'm gonna use a little makeup thingy. This is probably going to require a few layers to get this nice dark blue the way we want it. I'm probably gonna do these snowflakes in like a silver acrylic or something, so I'm not too worried about getting them covered in the dark blue. Keeping it pretty low-key this year for Christmas. Gonna go over to my parents on Christmas Day as usual, provided the weather's decent, because they live out of town. We'll have dinner or brunch or whatever we decide. Really casual. I know a lot of you that have really big families out there, it's a much bigger ordeal. I don't know if we're gonna go to my extended families this year or if we're just gonna stick to my parents. I guess that will all depend. It'll depend largely on my mom, because it's my mom's family we'd be going to see. Most of my dad's family is either estranged or deceased, so we don't really see them. In fact, I've never met most of them. My mom's side of the family, they're a bit closer. My mom's the black sheep of the family. Surprise, surprise. But the rest of them are pretty close. They're Dutch. My mom was born in the Netherlands, or Holland as she calls it. So, and her family immigrated here when she was young. There we go. I think that's good for the center. Oh, ow, muscles, ow. Okay, yep, ow. Sorry. Oh my goodness. Okay. We're gonna need a bigger piece here, so I'm gonna pull out my J cloth and move into focus here for you. There we go. Also trying to mix it into the blue down here as well. Sorry, I'm not like totally in frame here, but I love working with soft pastels. I know a lot of people find them like messy and inaccurate. A lot of people are scared of them, but I find them just one of the easiest things. I'm going to move this away here. One of the easiest things to work with because they're so forgiving. It's an easy way to get a big background done on Amazon paper. On better paper, I prefer to use, more water-based mediums for my backgrounds. I find it a little more satisfying personally, but on this, cheap paper that doesn't hold up to water well, soft pastels are a great option. My pan pastels in particular, like you can see how much more I'm struggling with these cheaper pastels, and these are still half decent pastels. They're not awful, but they certainly aren't pan pastels. Pan pastels are just wonderful. I think they're well worth the extra cost. I buy them open stock. So far, I've bought them open stock at my local art store. I find them a pretty good value that way. That way I get exactly the colors that I want, and I can just buy one or two at a time as I need them. Because they are about 10 bucks a pan. You can see how much more pigmented they are when they go down. You don't have to do layer after layer after layer. It's like as soon as you've done it, you've done it. It's like it's done, Just trying to get some extra pigment in a little closer to the wreath here. Okay, that's good. Get this a little wipe off. Don't want it to be perfect, or I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, should I say. Okay, so then I'm pulling out my trusty handy dandy Derwent eraser. stick it everywhere. But I think this is going to be a very nice little project to work on. Now, I think I'm going to use, I think I'll use my Brutfuners for this one. I'm kind of on a Brutfuner kick right now because I just got them and I'm kind of excited about them. I won't strictly use them. I'm being loosey-goosey with this page, you know? I'll use my Brutfuners. I'll also use my colors if I feel like it. You know, I'm just gonna take it easy and not go too crazy with the thinking on this one. So, yeah. So I've got my color sheet out here. I haven't transferred it into my color chart book yet because I screwed up and I accidentally missed a tray of pencils when I was doing this chart. So I want to redo this chart, make sure I get it all in the order that I want it to. I got the browns and the grays mixed up here. So, but I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's, you know, I got to take the time to actually fix it properly if I'm going to fix it. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking that I'm going to keep the birds in grays, browns, and blues to keep the page really cohesive. Then whatever they're wearing will be in more brighter colors, maybe reds, burgundies, maybe some golds. And then of course the leaves and the branches will be brownish and greenish. So I'm just gonna kind of go with that basic color palette. I'm not gonna, again, analyze it too deeply. Let's just kind of get into it. So for the branches, I kind of want, yeah, a greenish brown to get us started. So earth tone 95 looks good. Of course. Where are you? Earth tone 95. That's what we've got here. Give it a little sharpen. It's still set to factory sharpen, which is not super. We don't love factory sharpen, do we? Okay. I'm gonna risk zooming in a little bit here. If I start getting off the page all the time, I'll zoom back out to save us the trouble, so. So this is about as brown as I'm gonna get on these vines / leaves. Okay, something is moving my stand. Why is that? It's not touching anything, so it shouldn't be affected. Well, I guess it's affected a little bit because, you know, it's on the same floor. All right, well, we'll hope that it's not too noticeable. I kind of want the browns and the greens to flow together. I don't want them to be like stark difference. Sorry, I got a text, probably my husband. All right. So, Postal Service here is still on strike. So we can still get things from like Amazon or Temu because they have sort of their own service that isn't connected to our Postal Service, Canada Post. but anything that uses Canada Post is not making it through. So I have a few things that a while back I ordered on Etsy before the postal strike. And so those are caught up, I think, in the strike and are not going to make it through until the strike is over. And so far, there doesn't seem to be any hope of the strike being over anytime soon, which really sucks. So I'm not holding out hope that those Etsy items that I ordered are going to make it before Christmas, which is kind of sucky, but I mean, it is what it is, right? Not something I can control, so there's no point in worrying about it. As Van Wilder once said, worrying is like a rocking chair. Gives you something to do, but doesn't get you anywhere. And of course, construction is still going on. I can hear them down the street drilling away. I'm not sure exactly what it is they're trying to do, but rebuild the whole road, it seems like. I've got therapy this afternoon at 1. So that shall be nice. Hopefully. Hopefully it's not too stressful. You know how therapy can go. Sometimes it can be, easy breezy, and sometimes it can be very tough. So we shall see what happens. My therapist is quite experienced. She's been doing it for quite some time. This will only be my 3rd session with her, so still getting to know each other. But so far, I like what she has to say. She's very good at validating me, acknowledging things from my past, allowing me to feel hurt about those things as opposed to just continually pushing me to move on from it. Which I've had therapists do in the past where they're like, well, it's in the past, it shouldn't be affecting your present, so let's move forward. And I'm like, well, yeah, but it's not that easy. So, okay, I'm gonna leave earth tone out just in case I need it, but I think now we can move into some greens. I'm thinking light olive, maybe. Where is it? 116. For the branches, I think that would be good. Yeah, I may have to go over some of the spots with the earth green again, because it's like the olive is so pigmented that it's kind of taken over. I love these Brutfuners. I see why so many people have fallen in love with them. I'm kind of switching back and forth between my olive and my earth right now. Trying to get them both in there. Give them their due credit on both sides. Try to zoom in again. I zoomed out because I felt like I was really getting out of frame, but I'm still getting to know these Brutfuners. I like them, but they definitely, every set of pencils takes some getting used to. They all behave differently. Yeah, I like the way that this is going. I like this whole green and brown mixture. It's almost a bit random, which is kind of good for the winter season. I wouldn't want things to be too bright green, you know? But I also don't want things to be like super boring and brown. Going around the edges of this leaf with the brown, and then I want to do the center green. Show that it's browning at the edges a little bit, kind of ready for fall and winter, but not dead yet. So that's probably how I'll do all the leaves, and I'll continue to do the vines like that as well. So maybe I should do a couple berries, and then I'll go off screen and finish the rest of that foliage. So berries, 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 berries. Let's see. We need 98 burnt brick. Where would I find that? Maroon. Burgundy. Burnt brick. There it is. Okay. I've got my burnt brick red. For the shadow area. And then I think I'm gonna go with peach, which I think is a strange name, but I'm gonna roll with it. So we've got peach here. Yeah, that's nice. So we'll do all the berries like that. And I'm gonna go off screen and, well, I'm gonna do this. I don't know if I'll leave the camera running or not. Maybe I'll speed it up, whatever, but I don't have enough to do this whole thing like that. So either way, I'll be back soon. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I mean, you've been here the whole time. I left. Right, so I've got all of the leaves done, the berries done, aside from embellishing. The background's done, so all we need to do is all the birds, the owls, the teacup, the embellishments. Okay, we've got a long way to go. But lucky for you, it's a much shorter time than it is for me. So it's been a couple of days since I last sat down to do this. I just haven't had a chance to film. It's been really busy here in the house. Sound carries in this house, so it's really hard for me to film a video like this where I'm actually chatting through it when people are around. So before I get into chatting, let's get back into this. Let's not wait any longer. So I've got all my Brutfuners here. So I think if I recall, I had said that we were going to do mostly browns for the birds, but then I wanted to make their like little hats and things a little bit brighter. So let's see what we've got in browns. Okay, so we'll need a couple of dark browns. So let's say dark coffee looks good. Let's pull that out. And let's get a nice light brown, like cinnamon 43. Cinnamon, so that'll be a nice light brown. Oh, let's pull out the one that they just call brown. Yeah, let's just pull that out as kind of a middle to light brown. Oh, and let's pull out coffee. So we've got dark coffee and coffee. So let's start with these four. Let's see how these go. So we've got dark coffee, cinnamon, brown, and coffee. I like that. All those names feel generically brown to me. Funny. Okay, let's sharpen them up. Put that list to the side for a second. So it's been a little while, like I said, since I have touched this page. I'm not sure, maybe even a week. I know I started this page like right at the beginning of December, and it is now December 10th that I'm filming this piece. So it's been a minute. Like I said, my house is not always easy to film in if people are around. So you'll have to forgive the time spent. All right, so let's zoom in a bit and start on our first bird right here. So I've got my dark coffee. Yeah, so there's his scarf, there's his hat. Okay, let's start with the tail. Oh, I gotta get a backing sheet. Silly me. Silly me. This will work. I used this for a video last night. I don't know if I'll make it a video, but I'm trying to film more, even if I don't use the footage, you know, maybe I can use it for shorts or something else, you know? Okay. But yeah, this weekend my house was, the energy in my house was a little weird. My roommate was a little off, you know, he was off doing some things that he is trying not to do anymore. So when he got back from doing that, he was pretty angry at himself. So he radiated some negative energy around the house, and that of course affects me. I noticed it immediately. I knew exactly what he was going through because I'd been there many times. Okay, and then I'm moving on to regular coffee here. I've gone through my own struggles, so I understand what he's struggling with. He's not hitting the point where he is willing to listen to anybody about this, though, you know? You have to be willing to listen if you want to help yourself. And unfortunately, listening to other people who have been through it can really spark some negative emotions, can really relate and hit home in a way that's really uncomfortable. So I know it took me time to get used to listening. It's not pleasant, I'll tell you that much. Here we have brown. But I've been doing okay. Busy. I've been spending a lot of time forming a new little group with Juliet Colors and Mandy. And I've been reorganizing my my storage system for my coloring books, because I've so kindly been gifted a few and I needed to sort of change some things around, reorganize the bookshelves. And of course, if I reorganize the bookshelves physically, I then have to go and reorganize them digitally as well. I keep all mine in a Google spreadsheet that was kindly prepared by Amy Ward, and I'm ever so grateful for. I need another lighter color for that belly. What have we got? Not a lot of pastels in this collection. I'm going to consult the color chart again. Okay, so we've got I'm thinking maybe I do need a set of macarons from Brutfuner. I see why now they keep those separately. I think maybe the olive yellow, as unpleasant of a color as that is, it might actually just add a little bit of contrast here. There. Yeah, that gives just a little a little something. Okay, let's move on to this bird here. I'm going to stick to the same browns, but I might pull out a couple of highlight colors here. So what can we do with highlighting? Let's say if we pull in Brick Dust, which is kind of an orangey red. And what if we pull in this super light yellow, apricot yellow? Is this it? Apricot yellow and shallow yellow, which is kind of like a peach color. I think that those will help with some highlighting. All right, so let's do this bird. So I've got my dark coffee again. So when it comes to me, I've been really focusing on the Christmas coloring. I've been noticing a lot of people saying that, you know, Christmas is only here for so long and you've got lots of winter left, so save your winter coloring. And that's right. That's very true. And same with my my bingo, my winter for winter tag. It goes for 2 months, so I don't have to get it all done in 1 month, even though I'm already there. I've got 2 lines done already, so. But I've been so excited about it. I appreciate all of you who have participated in it already. I've been trying to repost your pictures to my story as much as possible. If you don't see your picture end up on my story, make sure to send it to me, DM me, or re-tag me, because sometimes Insta doesn't like tag me if, you know, if it's in a bad mood. So make sure to double check those tags. But we've got a lot of participation so far. It's going really great. Even my hubby's been trying to participate in the bingo. He's been putting in a lot of effort into trying to find time to color with me, which is super lovely. He asked me the other day, he's like, oh, but me coloring in your coloring books, isn't that gonna ruin them? I'm like, no. It's super cute. I love when you color with me. If you use a page, that's not ruining it. That's just adding to it, really. I wish I could be so gracious with myself, you know? Being so worried to start a page because I'm gonna ruin it, you know? I gotta get out of that mind frame. Okay, so I'm gonna skip straight to cinnamon to create some more contrast on this bird's body. I spent a good deal of time on one of Amy Ward's lives the other day. I always felt a little bit weird popping in on her lives because she's always coloring in something that either she's already done quite a lot in, or is in a book that I don't have. So I feel like, oh, I don't belong there, right? Because that's, you know, that's not, I'm not following along with the content. But then when I sat in on her live the other day, I realized that it wasn't about that. It was about just hanging out and doing my own thing while she did her thing. And if I wanted to glance up and see what she was doing as she explained it, that was cool. But this wasn't a class where I had to pay attention to the content and where I was going to be graded on it at the end of it, you know? I just got to sit and work on a whip in a totally different book while she explained what she was doing in her on her page, and it was just really nice. I got a lot done that way with the low pressure environment. So I'm going to try to keep that in mind going forward in the future. Quite like that. That's nice. Sorry about the glare. These pencils leave a lot of shine. I wonder if I should... Does taking my bright light off help? Or is that too dark? I don't know. We'll try it for a little bit and see if it helps at all. Or maybe I should just turn it down a little. Hold on. Let me see if I can turn the brightness on that down. No, it doesn't help at all because it still shows the glare because of the angle it's on. Okay, I'm going to turn it off. Give the camera a second to adjust. Ooh, I'm so not used to that. That's really dark to me. I'm so used to having my bright light on. Ooh. Okay, well, I'm going to try this for a little bit, see if it helps you guys be able to see this a little better. All right, so I just used coffee and cinnamon. So let's use, for his belly, I'm going to use brick dust. I need to sharpen it. I owe RJ Hampson a bit of an apology, I think, because at first I really wasn't a fan of his work. I didn't get it. I didn't understand why everybody loved it so much. I don't know. I didn't find it as exciting and wonderful as everybody seemed to find it. And, you know, I don't know. I didn't look into it that deeply, but then I started to realize that, yeah, he does have a very particular style that that grows on you. Like, I really now am beginning to enjoy his work a lot. I see the little bits of humor in it. I see the personality that comes through. And it's exciting. I want more of his work now. So I get where everybody was coming from, and I don't know why it took me so long. To understand it, you know? It's strange. It's a strange thing. But it's all good, you know? I get it now, and I'm going to roll with that. So I'm going to use, okay, brown, cinnamon, dark coffee, and coffee. Okay, let's do dark coffee again. And I'm going to use, okay, brown, cinnamon, dark coffee, and coffee. Okay, let's do dark coffee again. Okay, let's do dark coffee and coffee. Okay, let's do dark coffee again. 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 And coffee. Okay, let's I'm in frame, right? Yeah. So I guess maybe I don't owe him an apology. I just owe him now to say that I get it. And I'm a fan. I am becoming quickly a big fan of his work. These little birds are so cute. There we go. So that's dark coffee, which I will then offset using brown. I have to put macarons on my wish list right now before I forget. I'm like, my ADD brain is like, what are you doing? Fix this. Okay, let me see. Oh, they're so inexpensive too. That's wonderful. Okay, hold on. Hold on, I'm almost there. Okay, add to wish list. There we go. And then I think I also need color macarons. I only have a 72 set of colors in the first place, but again, I guess you can never go wrong with soft colors, right? All right, so those are on my wish list now. Yay. Okay, back to what I was doing. Sorry. Okay. I'm getting a lot better at expressing my feelings too, like even just to myself. I'm getting better at journaling, talking to myself, recognizing the things that are bothering me, working through intense feelings. These were all the goals that were set for me when I started my new therapy regime back in July. And I'm so happy to see that these things are happening. Okay, I'm going to use coffee now. I'm going to go over to this bird. I know that I'm improving. I know that I'm getting better. Little by little by little. It's such a slow burn though. But those little improvements you do see when they happen, it's really satisfying. Okay, and then I'm going to use the same color again. I'm going to use the cinnamon again. We'll see how it mixes with this color. Hopefully it's different enough from his counterpart bird that we see they're not twins. You'll notice that I'm, you know, using a lot of gradation here by scumbling, which is that circular motion of the pencil. And I'm pressing harder when I'm closer to areas where I want shadow, and then I'm slowly reducing the pressure as I move away from those areas. And I do that layer after layer until I have it the right consistency. It's been requested that I do a beginner tutorial on blending. I wasn't sure if that was what you guys wanted to see, so you'll have to let me know in the comments. Okay, so there's that. Shall we do some brick dust again? Perhaps? I was thinking, if I'm going to do a blending tutorial, would it be best if I did it with each different pencil that I own, perhaps? I know I'm doing that a little bit in my Rita Berman mini series, but it's not specifically about the techniques. It's more about just, you know, sitting back and doing a cute little picture and chatting and, you know, getting something done in an intimidating book. That's what my Rita Berman series is about, which will resume after the holidays, by the way. I decided that maybe now is not the best time to be doing that one. We'll kind of skip over it until January, and then I'll get more of those out to you. If you protest deeply, please let me know, but if you can wait till January, that'd be nice so that we can kind of keep things synced up and I can get maybe a couple of more holiday colorings in here. Thinking we'll just use some of this shallow yellow to finish this off. There. Whittle birdie. Burp, burp, burp. Moving on to this little friend. This guy looks like a blue jay. But I don't really want to do blue because we've got so much blue. I'm going to stick with these colors. I understand that that's probably not the color this bird is supposed to be. But I just want to keep it kind of consistent. So I'm going to stick with my browns and whatnot. Hope that's okay with everybody. Okay. So for this burb, I think we'll go back to the dark coffee. Let's sharpen again. I think I need to pull out my sharpener a little, make it a little sharper. There we go. Every pencil needs a slightly different setting for sharpening, I find. Okay. I don't know what else to say. Not much in the way of channel news. You guys are all, I assume, fairly caught up with the fact that, you know, all the things that are going on. We're doing the winter for winter tag. We've got, I'm gonna put the Rita Berman series on hold just for a little bit, just until we get our wits back about us from the season. We've still got Project Mythical Minis going on. I'm way behind on that. I only have one done this month. I should have way more than that done because I want to video at least 2 of them. We're doing 4 per month. I want to video at least 2 of them per month. I think that that's a fair number. And I've only done one now. I did video it, which is good. That's already up on the channel. I believe that was the sea serpent that we did. But we've still got the sea goat, the elf, and the harpy. And I can't decide which ones I want to video. But I've been seeing all your guys' work as it comes along, and it's been gorgeous, of course. I'm gonna go straight into brick dust for his body this time, and I'm gonna do a much different eye piece and belly piece, I think. Wish me luck on this. I hope it turns out. Just trying to come up with different combinations without going outside the color palette. I know this page probably would have been a good one to do with alcohol markers, but I'm trying to do a lot of videos with just pencil because I know there's a lot of you out there that pencils are all you've got. And so I want to make sure that everybody's getting a chance to try different pages with the materials that they have. I know a lot of people just fall back so easily in Amazon paper onto alcohol markers, but it doesn't have to be that. You can still use budget pencils on budget paper. Alcohol markers are not cheap. Even the cheap ones are not cheap, you know? There we go. And then I'm going to pull out cinnamon, which needs another sharpen. And do his belly here. And then I'll pull out the really pale yellow. Hopefully this works out. Yeah, there we go. It's a little different. That looks okay. All right, we'll pull down. So we've got these two left. So coffee. Okay. Let's do dark coffee again for Mr. Bird here. Actually, no. Hold on. I'm going to start him with, I'm going to pull in one more. Where is it? Give me a second here. Okay, I'm pulling out a different color, and that's deep greenish gray. Okay. Trying to stay in frame here. So I'm doing this as a base coat before I put on my next layer. I'm going to go right over top of this with my dark coffee. He's going to be a very dark colored bird, but still in that same color family. I just think that this really dark palette for him will give that air of sophistication. Beautiful. Okay, so then I'm going to go over it with the dark coffee and hope this works. very dark, but in like a nice, sophisticated way. That's perfect. Yeah, that's pretty nice, I think. I hope you're seeing it on camera. It's not too dull. Either way, I'll show you at the end when I put my other light back on. What shall we do for his belly? I think I'm going to stick with dark coffee. Keep the whole palette dark. I want to put a whole layer of the dark coffee down. I don't want there to be any majorly bright highlights on him. He's Mr. Dark and Mysterious. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so then his belly, I think. I mean, I guess we should keep it somewhat consistent. So I'm going to put down a layer of brown. See what happens. Yeah, I think that looks nice. I think brown will be the end. I was thinking about putting another layer, but no. You'll notice that 2 to 3 layers is my sweet spot. I don't feel the need to put in 7 or 8 layers. I just find that tedious and unnecessary in most cases. Unless you're covering like a really large area, 2 to 3 layers is usually sufficient. Of color, I mean. You may need more layers opacity-wise, but I really rarely use more unless I'm looking to try and make a very complex color. But in most cases, particularly in simple images like this, a couple of colors is enough. Okay, the little misses here. I'm going to make her nice and light. I want her to be, you know, more in line with this guy and this guy and this guy. So I'm going to start her off with brown, I think. Yeah. Which was the lightest color that we did on Mr. Dark and Mysterious across from her, so. Just thinking. How do people do this? Like, and just continually talk through the whole thing? My brain wanders off because there's nobody talking back to me, that I forget that I'm supposed to be talking and like actually articulating the thoughts that come into my head, but they start going silent after a while, and I don't know. Okay, so we've done coffee. Let's hope that cinnamon is light enough to still create a little bit of shadow and highlight contrast. If not, oh well. Yeah, there's a little bit. It's not as pronounced as it should be, but oh well. I'm over it. Okay. And then her belly, again, we'll do in the brick dust. I guess these are kind of turning into robins. But whatever. Okay, so there's the brick dust. Yeah, I guess we'll just do the shallow yellow again, actually. If I'm going to do that, I want to take the brick dust just gently all the way to the edges, just to help create that definition. Don't want to leave any white because that'll be too bright of a highlight. Nice. I'm going to treat these guys at the bottom here, the owls, sort of as their own separate image, I think. Or should I do them in the same colors? Maybe I should do them in the same colors. Right here, right now. Oof. Okay, yeah, maybe I will just get it over with, do them in the same colors. That way I won't regret it later if I can't remember what colors I was using. All right. So for this guy in the back here, we're going to start with the deep greenish gray. Maybe I'll do the deep greenish gray for both of them, but use a different brown for each of them. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. It's a quiet week for me here as far as appointments and stuff go. I don't have anything aside from my transitional caseworker on Friday. She's the one person that I consider to be a super casual meeting. There's nothing anxiety inducing about having to meet with her and talk to her. We mostly do it virtually, first of all, and second of all, I've been seeing her for so long. She's been there with me basically since the beginning of all this back in June. I see her pretty much every week. And she's just there to make sure that I'm still handling real life okay. She's not a therapist, and she's not a doctor or nurse or any of these things. She's just there to keep me organized and heading in the right direction, to make sure that that I'm capable of handling things on my own. And if I need help with anything, she's there to help me. But basically, because I was hospitalized for my problem, she's there to make sure that I'm okay outside of hospital. So transitional. She's there to transition me from being institutionalized to being out in the big wide world. And, she's one of those people that I can just trust, and she's just there, and I don't have to worry about, if I'm doing okay, because that's her job, is to tell me if I'm not doing okay and I need to go back, right? Like, she's there to tell me if I am not well enough and that I need to see somebody and that I need help. So that's a load off my mind. And she just basically, every time we meet, she just asks me, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Did you have trouble getting something done? Is there anything that I can do to make your life easier? She's just there to look out for me and, give me a hand when things get rough. I don't know how to describe exactly what her job is, but I'm glad she has it. She's basically there to help me plan my life to become a normal human. Well, quote unquote normal-ish human. She helps me decide when, for example, when I should start applying for jobs, when I need to push more through the disability program, when I need to, sign up for different programs, that kind of thing. Okay, so I did dark coffee over top of this guy, and I'm going to do regular coffee over top of this guy. And I'm really grateful to my workers, or my case manager. She's She's the one person I can rely on that doesn't expect anything of me other than stay alive, you know? Seeing my psychiatrist, I find, is very anxiety-inducing. He's a very busy person. Like, he's very intelligent, and he seems to be very on top of the issues that I'm having. He seems very knowledgeable in that particular niche. But he's busy. I think he's one of those people that bites off more than he can chew quite a bit because he's in charge of a lot of different programs at the hospital. I see him at the hospital. You know, he doesn't have his own out practice or anything. Got a bit of a flaw in the lead here. I'm gonna give it a little twist in the sharpener to see if that helps. But yeah, but he runs several programs, and every time I see him, I feel like he's in a hurry. You know what I mean? Like, he's got a lot to get through. He's very clinical, which is fine. I mean, that's his job, right? But I'm always scared that when I go there and I talk about what's going on with me, he's just going to be like, oh, I think you're doing fine. Don't worry about it. You're out of here. And like, he's going to stop my treatment or something, which I know he's not going to do, but like, sometimes I get that anxiety that, you know, he's going to get a case of the, you're doing okays, which I've had in the past and has not had good results, you know? Okay, so I'm using brown now. My nurse case manager, who I saw the other day, works pretty closely with my psychiatrist, he noted in my files that I have not been classed as in remission yet. So I'm still considered ill, which is, I mean, that's fine with me. Consider me ill. I'm good with that because that means that lower expectations, right? If you're still considered ill, you know, nobody's judging you for not working or not doing this, that, or the other thing, you know? Just realized I didn't switch colors to move over to this guy, but that's okay. They can both have the same base. I will do cinnamon for this guy. And then I will use brick dust for this guy. I don't like that there's not enough contrast on this one. I might have to do something about that. I messed up, guys. Don't like that. Don't like that at all. I was too busy talking about my problems. Wasn't paying enough attention to the picture. Okay. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take some of the dark coffee here. Layer it on the eyelids. And a little bit through here. A little bit under his beak. Little bit under here. There we go. Now we've got at least a little bit of contrast. Okay, so let's pull this out. I'm going to turn my light back on so you can have a look. Okay. So you can see that they're all slightly different, and yet all in the same color palette. What do we think of that, guys? All right, I'm gonna take a break here. I'm gonna kind of go offline for a minute, let my brain settle down, and then in a second, we'll be back. I mean, I don't know how long it'll be for me, but for you, it'll be a second. See you then. Okay, here we are. We're getting there. I'm very excited. I haven't even had my first coffee yet. Look, it's completely full. Man, this process is taking a lot longer than I wanted it to, but I think we're going to end up with superior results because of it. So I just need to get a vacuum sheet. Where'd you go? I am so prepared. This is great. I always get so excited to just come on here and talk to you guys that, like, I forget to do anything to prepare. Okay, let's zoom in. Hopefully the light isn't too shiny. So let's get on to doing all the bits and bobs, which is the next phase. We've got to do the little hats and the scarves and their feetses. We got to do the cup that's down at the bottom. We got to do all these snowflakes. You know, it's a lot of little things that are left, but I think they're all the little worthwhile things that are going to really set this page off, you know? So I'm just looking here. And I'm thinking, yeah, we're just going to use bright colors. We're going to use bright, unnatural colors to contrast all the softer, dulled out colors that we've used so far. Like even the berries are a very muted kind of dark red. I think that if we use any reds starting now, let's use some nice, bright, fun reds. Yes. Okay, so let's make him kind of like Mr. Scrooge. We're going to put a black hat on him. It's going to have a red band and a red scarf. So let's see what we have got to make this magic happen. So we're obviously going to need black, dark gray, and let's do lead gray. So we want black, dark gray, lead gray. Okay. Where did I put my sharpener? Okay. I have a story for you. Let me tell you, I have a story for you since the last time I filmed, which was literally like a day ago. It was like yesterday morning. So, okay, sharpen up the black. Sharpen up the dark gray. And sharpen up the lead gray. Okay. So this was probably gonna be, I don't know. We'll see as I go. I'm not gonna try to plan too far ahead here. You know how I be. All right, so we got our black. Right, so the world has been turned on its head since I saw you guys last. So it was brought to our attention that maybe the setup of my office was not the most useful. Like, maybe it wasn't the best place to have it. As it was in the living room, right? And it still is. But like, I looked my desk faced directly into my roommate's room, which was disconcerting for both of us in the morning. He just didn't feel like he had as much privacy. I was taking up a lot of space in the living room, so that like I felt like I was taking up a lot of space, if you know what I mean. Like I was, you know, taking up more of the room than belonged to me. So we moved me. So we picked up my entire office, and I am now at the very opposite end of the living room. And it's a big living room. And I have a lot of stuff, like furniture-wise and stuff. I'm pretty organized. So, yeah. That's a big change. So everything is flipped on its head. My desk is facing the opposite direction. All my shelves are facing the opposite direction. The couch is facing the opposite direction. Everything is just a little topsy-turvy. And it's throwing me for a loop, let me tell you. But I think it's going to be a good change. It feels good being over here, sort of in my own space, closer to my own room. I'm looking into my bedroom now as opposed to someone else's, so that's good. Okay, so there's our blacks and our grays. I'm going to set those aside because I don't know if I'm going to need them again or not. Maybe for their little feet, but we'll see. So I want to do red for his scarf and hat band. So, and let's do something nice and hecka bright. So I think our main color is going to be blood red. And maybe we'll just do regular red, or maybe we'll even pull out the metallic red. I'm going to pull out the metallic red because we'll see what happens. I don't really know how these metallics work. Fresh red. Blood red. red. I'm kind of worried that these aren't going to be far enough apart. Maybe I'll use salmon pink as well. Salmon pink. Yeah, let's try that. I think that that's a pretty good number. Okay, to save you guys ears, I'm going to try sharpening these in a regular handheld sharpener and see what happens. Yeah, no. I'm going to use my doll. The lead started crumbling a bit, and I was just like, I'm not playing this game. With cheaper pencils, I find it's always better to use a turbine style sharpener or blade. It's easier on the, it's gentler on the core. Okay, so blood red. But yeah, a big change like this can really affect your mood and your energy. Man, I was so tired by the end of the move, and I mean, yes, physically there was a bit involved, but I think more it was the organization of it all, because I had to obviously reorganize some things. I was gonna vlog it, but I kind of just got caught up in the moment of doing everything, and I forgot, so sorry about that. But if you want, let me know and I'll give you a new studio tour. But yeah, that's about all that's happened since I was last on here. So back to the regular old whatever it is that we talk about. Oh, this also meant that I had to move my bunny, because my rabbit's house was right where I'm sitting right now before. So now she's over where my desk was, on the other side of the room. I'm surprised at how well she took this. I expected her to be a lot more angry. All right, so I'm taking the salmon pink now. Let's hope that this is the right choice. Yeah, I think that's nice. Keeps it looking really red, but then gives it a little bit of that contrast. Very good. Okay, that's one down. Let's move on to the next. Shall we go clockwise? Why not? All right, we got this little birdie here. I'm thinking I'm gonna do her hat nice bright yellow. Nice bright straw hat with some blue accents. So let's do bright dark yellow. Or bright orange yellow. And apricot yellow, perhaps? Yeah. Sorry I have to sharpen these every time. They do dull down quite a bit on this paper, I think, because Amazon paper is so very toothy. Okay, bright orange yellow. Yeah, I think that that's the only thing that's going to be yellow in this. I think we're going to... This was not a good choice of contrast. Oh well, it's just a small detail. I think it'll be fine. So... let's do a blue. Let's pull out royal blue. And I guess we may as well do her little flower too. I'm just gonna do it straight up blue. And then a very light blue. I'm gonna pick out this super light blue. See, this is where the macarons would come in really handy. If I always used a macaron as the highlight, then I wouldn't end up with these problems where I can't tell where my highlight is. There we have it. I used pale blue, by the way, for that. Okay, on to the next. This friend here, I think I'm gonna make his eye stripe black. Like a bandit. But I'm gonna skip the dark gray and go straight into the lead gray. There we go. Okay, I am once again going to make his hat red. So we've got our blood red again. And our salmon pink. Okay. And I'm just going to put a little bit of blue to shade on the fuzzy part of the hat. Good. So now the twins down here who are not twins, the first one's hat's going to be blue. And I'm going to emphasize the blue on his fuzzy a little bit more. I'm actually going to pull in the white just to make sure it's nice and burnished in. And I'm going to go back and do this guy's little poof too. Go. So then his hat, I'm going to do yellow. So I'm going to pull out that bright orange yellow again. It's such a small space. I'm just going to use white for the highlight. And I'm going to use creamy yellow for the poof. We've got another hat here, so we'll pull that out in black. I like his hat being so tall. I think it's very, it reminds me of like a Tim Burton style. It reminds me of The Corpse Bride, if you've seen that. The very exaggerated features. And lead gray. And I'm gonna use the dark gray on his glasses. A little bit of lead gray. There, and then white over top of it. Then for the band, I don't want to use red again because I feel like he's copying our friend over there. Why don't we... I might just use the salmon pink. Yeah. So it matches his color. Okay, and then the next one is this little guy who's really all trussed up, eh? Ready for the weather. Blue, I think, is his color. So we're going to use I'm erasing the diamond pattern a little bit, but I'm going to bring it back out. I'll use some gel pens or something to bring it back out afterwards. right. There. And I think I'll just use a smidge of the gray to highlight his hat. There. Okay, so there's all of their hats. Now we just have to do their little feets and beaks. I'm gonna put some yellow in here. So each of their feets and beaks, I can't help but say feets, I'm sorry. I know they're, that's not how you say it. It sounds right to me. So I'm gonna start each with a lead gray. Because most birds have very boring colored feet and beaks. You know, unless they're a toucan or a parrot or something, they're not, the beaks and the feet are generally very boring parts to look at. As if I'm going for realism here when they're wearing top hats, you know? And then I think to go over them, let's use this is a hard one. I'm thinking I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm at a loss. Beaster, maybe? 113. Okay, we'll try it. We'll see what happens. Let's just do it. Yeah. Boring. Oh well. 'Tis what it is. I wanted the focus to be on their wardrobe, so that's where it is. That's okay. Again, I'm still getting used to these pencils. I'm still getting used to their color range. I would have done this quite differently, I think, had I done it in Prisma or some other such thing. pencil that I'm more familiar with, but you know, this is my first real page done with these pencils, so I have to cut myself some slack here. Right, so they're all done now. Next thing's next, and that's the Mr. and Mrs. down here. Excuse me while I try to piece together a way to make sure I get them on camera. Here we go. Let me just reorganize myself here. Okay, so unlike their counterparts, these guys are gonna have a little bit brighter beaks. So, sorry, just trying to make sure I get you into frame here. There we go. Okay. So I'm using Beaster to shade here. Okay, a little bit of shading, and then I'm going to take the orange yellow. Yeah, you can see how that would have been far too bright if we had just done it on its own. But having shaded down, put a layer down of the Beaster first, helped quite a bit to tone it down. Okay. So, I'm dreading this teacup. I don't know what to do with it, to be honest. I'm kind of putting it off. Oh well. All right, let's do this hat. So let's make it also a straw hat. So we're gonna again come in with the Beaster. And put down a layer. Then a little bit of our orange yellow. Just lightly. I don't want to put a ton of this in because I want it to be different from their feet. And then we're back to this creamy yellow. I find that with RJ's work, especially in a page like this, even though it's on Amazon paper and it would be ideal for alcohol markers, I just find that his work is so intricate that I struggle to want to try and take alcohol markers to it for fear of bleed. You know what I mean? So I want dark blue for this flower. Put a little bit of the pale blue. So I find that I've done a couple of his pages now in mostly pencil, maybe done some basing in larger areas with alcohol markers, but generally speaking, I've been sticking to pencils for the large amount of it. We'll have to pull in some greens for these leaves, but for now, I think that that's good. And then for this little friend, I think we'll make the majority of his hat and his scarf red once again, but I won't put any green on him. I'll make him red in either yellow or blue. I haven't decided yet, but for right now, there. A little bit of red in there, and then, yeah, I think the blue will be nice. Again, because this is winter joy, not Christmas joy, I don't want to put too much emphasis on the Christmas colors. pull in that satin. Right. Now, shall we make the scarf red or blue? Coffee is the answer. I'm going to go with red. I don't know why. I just feel like the scarf should be red in this picture. And I'm just gonna do white for this. Now I just have the Corpse Bride movie in my head just playing over and over. Ugh. I've seen it so many times that it's practically memorized. Okay. Now this teacup. Oh, goodness gracious me. Actually, let's just stall here, and I'm going to put some green. Just grabbing a forest green here and okay, you know what? I am going to take a break before I get into this cup. But we're almost there, folks. We're almost there. Good morning. Welcome back. I've dropped tea on my page. Oh dear. I'm hoping that this will be the last sitting and that we'll be able to get this done and I will be able to get this video out to you soon. This is why I don't do full page color alongs very often, because they take me forever and I cannot just sit down whenever I feel like it and work on them. I have to have lots of time and space, and when you live in a house full of people, time and space is not always afforded to you so easily. But let's crack on. Let's move forward. Okay, so we're gonna do this cup. I've decided that I'm gonna do it and its matching friend over here. We're gonna do them a light blue as well. Hopefully I can make it enough that it stands out from our background. So let's start with our highlight color, which is going to be the lightest blue we have. No, second lightest blue we have. I have cerulean blue here. And I'm actually going to pull out one of the metallics, just for fun, to be honest with you. I just want to see how it performs amidst the other colors. So I've got metallic cyan blue here. And what the heck? Why don't we just do the whole thing metallic? Let's pull out the metallic blue as well. And in that notion, I'm going to pull out the white just in case I don't feel like throwing the blue in there and I really want to create some contrast. Let's pull out the white. Okay. So the cup. Okay, we've got our sharpener. Let's sharpen up before we begin here. Yes, it is a whole new day. In fact, I believe it is a whole new week because by the time I got a chance to work on this anymore, it was the weekend, and I cannot work on these on the weekend because if I am to film, I require silence, or at least semi-silence, quasi-silence, if you will, and I cannot be afforded that when there are people running about the house. So, all right, let's have a look here. Now, of course, the flower and the leaves, I'll make them red. I'll match the berries and what have you, so that'll be nice. Let's start with our darkest metallic blue. Down here. I don't know what I've talked about in previous sessions because, like I said, it's been like a week. I've got all new nails on, as you can see. What is that, the third? The third selection of nails since we started this? I change my nails about every 2 weeks, so that'll tell you how long it has taken me. But yeah. So, it is Monday. The gentlemen, the loud gentlemen are out of the house, gone to work, which is good. My husband, though a wonderful creature he is, he tells me all the time, he's like, I'll be quiet if you need to film, I'll be quiet if you need to film, but it is not in his nature. Not that he's a loud person, he's just impulsive in the way that only a mildly autistic person can be. So a lot of the time, his brain will go into silent mode. You know, he'll be introverting and doing his own thing, but the second he hears a sound, suddenly it forces him to speak on whatever's in his brain. I've demonstrated this with him many, many times where we'll be sitting in the living room and I'll put on a show or a YouTube video that I want to watch. And his mouth immediately opens and begins talking. So I pause because I want to see whatever I put on. So I pause and I listen and I wait. And when he is finished speaking, I will then resume the show. And immediately his mouth opens again. Okay, so I pause. I wait. I listen. Obviously give feedback where it is required. And once again, I resume. And the second my finger hits the unpause, his mouth opens again. And he doesn't realize he's doing it, but it's like a Pavlov effect of some kind. And then I will start giving hints by way of staring at him once he's finished speaking with my hand over the space bar. You know how the space bar is, the pause on pause. And I'll stare at him for like a good solid 30 to 40 seconds, waiting to see if he has anything else to say. And when he doesn't, I will tentatively hit the pause on pause. He will then open his mouth and I will slam the pause on pause button loudly. And he'll be like, oh, I'm doing it again. And I'm like, yes, dear. Like, I love you and I love listening to you and it's wonderful. But I wish you'd make up your mind. Are we talking? Or can I watch my show, please? And he's like, no. I'm sorry. I'm finished. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. And then, you know, I'll turn my show back on. And it'll be fine. But it will all inevitably start again, eventually. Unless he decides, Unless he's actually consciously thinking about it, he's like, I'm going to speak again. I'm going to go downstairs. And I'm like, okay, thank you. That's very sweet of you. I very much appreciate it. I like the way this is looking. I mean, the metallic effect of the pencils is negligible, you know. Nothing to write home about, of course, but I guess it adds an extra little glimmer in there. Okay, I'm going to switch to the metallic cyan to see what happens here. I'm going to use it on the rim of the cup here. Yeah, I think that creates a nice little contrast. I don't think I'm going to use them together though, because this is more of a greeny blue versus this being more of a blue. So I think I'm going to use them on separate sections. This is definitely going to be an experimental video. When it comes out, I'm going to see how it does, and I want your feedback. Please, if you're still here, give me your feedback and let me know if it was worth the effort of me trying to speak through this entire video at length, or if I should just stick to doing partial. Like, should I have just finished the rest off camera once I was unable to continue chatting, or maybe just do it to music or whatever? You know, let me know what would be the best option for us all. I think the next video I'm going to do, the next video I'm going to begin filming. I've got a few that still need to be finished filming and editing, but the next video that I go to begin filming on, is going to be like a beginner video. It's going to be like how I, not how to, but how I, because I'm no professional, but how I blend. A, simply for those of you who are interested in my thought pattern on the process. B, I've had a request for this from a friend of mine who is struggling a little bit with her blending technique. She'd like to know broken down exactly what goes through my head when I'm blending, to try and, you know, add some of that to her technique, you know. So I don't mean to proclaim that I know what I'm doing by any means, but I can tell you what I've sort of developed in my own time. All right, I think that that's good enough. for the cup. I want it to be light and airy and all that kind of stuff. So the next thing will be the flowers. So I'm going to use the same. So we had peach. I wrote this down. I'm a smart potato. Peach and burnt brick red. Where does one find that? Burnt brick red, right here. Okay. I think that's going to be the New Year plan for me. I have to get back to the Europa minis, which I've kind of put on pause for the holidays. Have to continue with Project Mythical minis. And maybe I'll put out a few beginner videos. That's the plan for the new year. I'm also going to be looking for a job in the new year, so who knows what kind of time I will have. There we go, there's the flower. And now the leaves, I think I'll make them a little brighter than the leaves up top. Let's see, where's the sheet? What if we did, still kept them in the olive range. Let's do olive and dark yellow greens. So middleish green, dark yellow green, and olive. Olive the other reindeer. Yes. Okay, good. I think my camera is touching my table a little. Just bring that back a smudge. That's better. Yeah, that's better. It was touching my table just ever so slightly. Whoops. Sorry about that. Hopefully it wasn't shaking too much. Okay. Olive. I don't know if I asked this the last time I was filming here. Did I ask you guys about how you feel about if I did a couple lives? I really enjoy going into other people's lives now. I'm starting to figure that out. In particular, Amy Ward's got a really beautiful group of people that come together when she goes live 3 times a week, and I'm enjoying going and hanging out there. I feel like maybe it would be a nice low pressure environment for me to continue working on things. Still getting it up on video for you guys, but not having the structure of having to video and edit and all this kind of stuff, you know? Let me see, is there anything this weekend that happened? Because I know I haven't spoken to you since before the weekend, so anything on the weekend that happened that you'd be interested in? No, went to another meeting Saturday night. I always go every Saturday night. It's my home group. And that went very well. It was a lovely meeting. need to create the substance that is in the cups. So I will choose bronze for this. With a smudge of chocolate. Yeah, that looks good. Back. So then it's just the butterfly until we move into our embellishments. So, butterfly. I think that we'll make her red, but I'm just gonna do it. No, we're gonna use both colors. Keep it consistent. You know what? I'm gonna do those in embellishment anyway, so I may as well just go over them. I am on screen. Yes, I am on screen. Okay. Go. I'm going to pull out bronze again for this little creature's body. And then, of course, we need red. Oh, I'm excited to get this page done. It's been a lot of fun. It really has. I've enjoyed it. Especially since I decided to do it in pencil. I'm surprised at how little frustration I've had with it. Editing it is going to be super fun. And by that, I mean not fun at all. Okay, there we go. So there's that. So I'm going to put the pencils away. The pencils are done. We are going to move into embellishment. So I'll zoom out for a minute so you can have a look at the whole thing while I get myself ready. Of course, I'll probably fast forward through this on your end. So back in a second. Okay, I am back with all my favorite embellishments. Now, I'm not going to go too crazy on taking out all the black lines. I sometimes do that. I sometimes like to get rid of every black line. In this case, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave them in. The way that RJ has drawn them is just lovely, so I don't want to mess with them too much. So, I'm just going to add in all the necessary embellishments to make this stand out and be fun. Number one, we need white. So I am going to pull out this Fly Seat acrylic painter. This isn't the world's best white acrylic paint pen, but it'll do. I have better ones, but I want to use up what I have. It's not like they're bad. They're just not the best, you know? But I want to give it a go. You can see it's really watery at first. Got to get all that settled binder out of the nib. Almost there. One more little shake. Woo! Or throw it. Throwing it is fine too. Okay. There we go. All right, so next up, I am going to throw a little bit onto the fuzzies of these hats here. Good. And then we're going to do these berries. Give them a little shine. Okay. Anything down here we need to do? No, not really. I think I'm gonna do his little hat embellishments in white. I was gonna do them in some shiny color, blue or red, but I think, you know what? I think a little white will break it up nicely. It's gonna need a second layer here. You can see where the pencil's not protecting the paper. It does get soaked into the paper quite badly, so I'll have to go back over that. Go. Okay, that's enough. So then the next thing I'm going to do is use a silver pen to outline all of the snowflakes. Why silver, you ask? Or maybe a gray? Why gray, you ask? Because I feel like snowflakes aren't white, right? They're technically clear. Clear with a little bit of gray, a little bit of blue, and they kind of just, they look white against everything else. But I want them to be a little bit more real in that sense. I want them to look more like snowflakes. So I'm gonna find a silver pen here that will be appropriate. Shall we use the Guangna Super Goldens? Do we want them to really be shiny? Sure, why not? Let's do it. We're also going to need a gold one, not a really gold one. I don't think that that would be appropriate. I think maybe this toned down gold. Okay, so we've got this toned down gold, more of a bronze really. There we are. And I'm first gonna do the bits on this cup. Oh, my bunny's snoring again. She's so sweet. Love her. There we are. Cup detailing done. And then I just want to do the little bit on her hat. Very good. Anything else that needs metal? No, I don't think so. Okay, so then silver. Gonna try to keep these lines as thin as possible, but I am definitely gonna pull out my secret weapon to finish off these snowflakes. Once I've outlined them, to really hit with a bang. because the rest of this page isn't, you know, it doesn't pop off the page. It's fairly muted, so I really want to give it a little something that pops. Okay, and I just realized that I do have one more thing I have to do, and that's the butterfly. So I'm going to do that right now using more guangna. This is the cyan. I don't want the cyan. I want the royal blue. Oh, I've forgotten the diamonds on his hat too. I'll do them the same. Those, and I will do there. Okay, so the rest of the snowflakes I will do off screen. I will be back in a minute. Okay, so we have now done all of the snowflakes, as you can see, very reflective in my lighting. I may have to turn that away for you a little bit while we're doing this so it's not shining in your eyes, but I have pulled out my secret weapon. Silicone brushes, a special mixture of adhesive, and Hemway Craft glitter. This is Mother of Pearl in the Ultra Fine, and I think it's going to be perfect for our snowflakes. So what happens if I just, maybe I should just turn it off. Yeah, maybe I'll just turn off. It's still shiny, but it's a little less shiny. Okay. So I'm not going to zoom in too crazy because you get the idea, but we are going to, so this is a mixture of white craft glue and gloss medium, acrylic gloss medium. I find that that is a perfect mixture for putting on something like a page like this, because the medium helps it to not dry too fast. Because sometimes if you're working with just a craft glue or something like that, it can be very difficult to get it on fast enough. And the problem with it not going on fast enough is it dries up and then the glitter doesn't stick as well. I'm trying to get the lid off of this. This is a brand new thing of glitter, so it's still sealed. I have to get the lid off in order to get the seal off. I didn't realize I hadn't opened this one yet, so sorry folks. Give me a second here. Oh, this is dangerous. Maybe I should just cut the seal out through the window. Oh. This is stuck on there tight. Got it, got it, got it. Sealed for your protection. Ooh. Oh, I see, yes. Indeed, my protection. Oh, geez. Ooh. Glitter everywhere. Okay. Got it. Got it. Okay, we're good. Glitter everywhere, but we're good. This is fine. Everything is fine. Okay, so I've got my silicone brush and I will apply this product, hopefully daintily. Within the lines of the snowflake. I really don't want to get glitter everywhere. I really want to try to keep it within the confines of the snowflake. This would be really handy if I had one of those squeeze bottles with a tiny little nib on it. Kind of like the Dimensional Magic and Glossy Accents. But we make do. So I'm just going to be doing one snowflake at a time, because otherwise I still, even with the medium in there, I run the risk of drying out, which leaves for a very scratchy looking snowflake. Okay, so there's that. Next up, I'm gonna use the pour, not the shake section. You know, shake, pour versus shake, because I want it to be precise. And just carefully. Sorry, you can't see because of the lid, but doing my best here. Wow, that was not careful. It's okay. If I get too much on here, I'll pour it back into the jar. So that is an entire pile of glitter. Super, right? All right, well, I'm going to do the exact same thing for the rest of them, and I'll be right back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. This has been sitting for about 4 or 5 hours now, so that should be enough. It still wants, when you're using heavy glitter like this, you always want to let it sit overnight, but for filming purposes, I think 4 or 5 hours should be enough just to get things so you can see the finished product. I won't close the book yet. I'm going to leave it open overnight first just to make sure. But for filming purposes, this should be good. So you can see all the ridiculous glitter. I've got my light back on, nice and bright, so you can see the glitter and the shine. But here we go. Are you ready? So I've got the excess glitter on a sheet of paper that I will use as a funnel to put back in the original container. Waste not, want not. And here we have it, folks. Are we loving that shine? Let me just check it here to see if it's stable. Yep, it's stable enough that I can use my brush. I'm going to dust it off. gently because it's still, like I said, I don't trust it until it's been sitting overnight. But there we go. Okay. You see how that shines? And by not making the edges white, we've actually made them appear more crystalline. If they were white, it would once again look a little bit too stark and they would look a little more artificial, whereas this looks a little bit more natural. I'm really loving the effect that we got there. So that is the end. That is this multi-week project for me finally completed. I know it's only been a couple of hours for you, but I appreciate you sitting through it nonetheless. Make sure you let me know what you think of this page, what you think of this video. All the products will be linked in the video description below. Please make sure you click those links, as I am an Amazon affiliate, and it will help me to get a couple of cents to put towards the channel and into the products that you need to see as I'm working with them. So thank you for being here with me. Thank you for watching. It has been a pleasure, and I will see you in the next one. Toodaloo!